90 days ago, I'd come to the end of a bulking phase and was feeling out of shape and not where I wanted to be. I was training consistently but felt low on energy and didn't like what I saw in the mirror, so I committed to a 3-month plan. Nothing extreme, no crash diets and no complete overhauls. And the results? I was pretty surprised. Now, this isn't going to be one of those my life has changed forever kind of videos where I tell you that I've closed my business down and moved to Thailand. Instead, it's going to be about the exact principles I followed over the last 90 days that helped me lose 11 kilos, get leaner, stronger, and more confident, all whilst going on holiday, eating out, and living a normal life. If you're someone who's tried to get in shape but keeps falling off the wagon, make sure you stick around to the end of this video where I'll share with you the methods to break that cycle forever. Let's get stuck in with nutrition. I knew that if I wanted to see physical change and lose fat, I needed to be in a calorie deficit. So it was important that this was the foundation of my approach to food. That meant that I needed to be aware of the amount of calories I was consuming every day, and the way I did that was by tracking my calories. To be clear, this wasn't about being restrictive or cutting out things I liked, but I wanted to be confident that I knew how much I was taking in on a daily basis. I could then make decisions about whether I wanted to eat certain higher calorie foods or if I wanted a treat, but I knew I was staying within my targets. The other important thing I did was to ensure that every meal or snack I consumed had at least 40 grams of protein. When we're in a calorie deficit and trying to lose fat, our weight is going to be going down, and it's really key that we try and minimize any muscle loss as we go through that process. And the way that we do that is by combining resistance training with a high protein diet. The other benefit is that we know protein takes longer for the body to digest as opposed to carbs and fats. So by actively focusing on eating more protein each meal, this is going to help with keeping us feel full for longer. When it comes to meal choices, I didn't actually change anything from the same things I was having when I was trying to put on weight. I did, however, make some amendments, and that was mostly in the form of portion sizes. In my experience, it's much easier to stay consistent with a diet if you enjoy the meals you're having and you actually know that they work for you. A lot of people, when they want to go on a 90-day cut, will completely overhaul their entire diet, but the problem is it quickly becomes too much to stick with, the food takes too long to prep, or you don't like it, and you just end up back at square one. On the training side, I followed a really simple 4-day upper-lower split. This consists of training lower body on Mondays and Thursdays and upper body on Tuesdays and Fridays. The goal for this program is to be hitting each muscle group at least twice per week to ensure that I'm getting enough volume and that I have 48 hours rest before hitting upper body or lower body again. Generally speaking, I'll look to do at least 2 exercises for each muscle group in a workout. So that might mean 2 quad movements like a leg press and a leg extension, 2 hamstring movements like an RDL and a leg curl, or for upper body, 2 chest exercises like a dumbbell press and a pec deck. I would end up doing somewhere in the region of 6 to 7 exercises, but you can be flexible with this depending on how much time you do or don't have. When it comes to sets and reps, every exercise I would do my warm-up sets to get me to a point where I was ready to lift heavy. Then each movement I would only do 2 sets. Set 1 would be a heavier set between 5 to 10 reps, and set 2 will be a lighter set somewhere between 10 and 20 reps. What I'm looking to do on both of these sets is ensure that I'm working to absolute failure, and that means getting to a point where I'm giving it my all and there is no chance of getting another rep. If we want to build muscle, we need to be providing enough stimulus that will lead to hypertrophy, and that will come down to the reps where you're really pushing yourself to the max. So it's important that you get confident working to a high intensity level in your sessions. With exercise selection, it really depends on what you've got available to you in your gym. I could list off every movement that I've done, but if you don't have some of the machines that I've had access to, then it's not going to be that helpful. What I would say is that if you are limited on equipment, your gym isn't the best, that does not need to hold you back, and you can easily see better results than someone with access to a great gym if you are really pushing yourself in your sessions and taking those sets to true failure. Another thing I've also utilized to increase my rate of fat loss is post-workout cardio. These are sessions that I will always do after my weights workouts to ensure that I'm not fatigued in resistance training that I want to prioritize, and consist of 4 30-minute low intensity sessions, 2 of which I've done on the Stairmaster and the other 2 being incline power walks on the treadmill. The aim of these is to get a good sweat on but maintain a pace that you could have a conversation, with the main goal being to bump up my calorie expenditure and push me further into a calorie deficit. I mentioned at the start of the video about how you can break the cycle of having motivational bursts but always end up being back where you started. Getting to a point where I could execute a 90-day plan and see the results that I've achieved over the last few months did not happen overnight, and there were a lot of failed attempts in the years prior. The thing I've learned and successfully applied for myself and my clients over the years is that over-restriction is the #1 way to end up giving up on your goals and staying stuck long term. It can be so tempting when you're feeling motivated to completely overhaul your diet and your exercise program. You tell yourself you're all in or all out and you're going to give 100%, but the reality of life is that we're rarely in a position where we're able to give 100% all of the time. If you're setting a standard that's so high that you can't actually stick with it, you'll feel like you're failing and you just end up giving up. Over the last 90 days, I flew out to Canada for a work course. I went on holiday with my family and went out for dinner every night. Instead of stressing, not enjoying myself, or trying to be restrictive, I didn't go crazy, had one eye on the end goal, and as soon as I was in a position to, I got straight back on it with my diet and workout plan, rather than letting a bad few days turn into a bad week or a bad month. If you feel like you would benefit from having one-to-one guidance on knowing the right calorie and macro targets to aim for, the most efficient workout program for your goals, then head to the link in the description, tell me more about what you want to achieve, and let's see if we're a good fit to work together. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.